Welcome to The View with Vertex, the show that takes you behind the scenes with some of the most influential people, personalities, and companies shaping the scaffolding industry. This next episode is brought to you by Scaffchamp, powered by Leia. Leia are an absolute juggernaut of innovation and efficiency within the scaffolding sector, along with their great partners, Kiwazo. Kiwazo are doing great things to address labour shortages and the risks of manual handling in the construction industry. I truly hope you enjoy this episode. If you do, all I ask is that you like, subscribe, and get notified every time we drop a new episode. Thank you and enjoy the episode. Welcome back to The View with Vertex. It's that time of year again. It's April, which means only one thing. We are building up to Scaffchamp 2024. Finally, we have got British teams involved. And the first of those British team are here to sit down and talk to me today. Friend of the show, who's been on before, it's Chris Howson of English Rose System Scaffolding. How's it going, mate?
Yeah, it's good.
How the devil are you?
I'm okay, yeah. Good to be back on again.
So
next time I'll get a match ball.
No, yeah. Do you know what? I'm thinking about it now. There's you. Mark Parkin's been on twice. Do you know Mark?
Yeah.
So Mark's been on a couple of times. Paul Dean, the guy who does the addiction support, he's on 2 now. So there's a race there for the hat trick.
Race to third, yeah.
Yeah. Race to third. Yeah. United will be looking for a race to fucking 6th at the minute, but we can cut that out, can't we? Swearing. So, Scaffchamp, what's prompted that decision?
I think it was a conversation. James fancied the idea. I mentioned it to him because I'd watched a couple on YouTube. I'd seen what other Europeans were doing it, and I thought, I think we could fare in that. And it was muted about a bit, the idea, and we ummed and ahed about it, and it was like, right, okay, we'll put a team in.
Why not? Yeah. There's a lot of sort of, I know you will have seen this on like social media and stuff. There's a lot of like British interest in it, but usually when you get interested, it's usually from a negative perspective.
Yeah, well, I was just saying that to all like then. That I've seen stuff on LinkedIn where the stuff's been posted about Scaffchamps, and people have mentioned like, well, why don't you do one in tube and fitting? Well, why don't you organise something then?
Yeah.
You know what, these guys are doing it, so if you want to,
nobody's stopping you. That's
so you have a go at it.
Yeah,
but it takes too long.
Yeah.
You couldn't do it.
Well, yeah.
That's why. So yeah, I've seen the negative comments about it, but each their own.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think some of the kickback I saw was like, how can you call it Scaffolding World Championships? It's not scaffolding, it's Lego. And I think Oleg's had a field day with that. Yeah. It's Meccano, it's this, that, and the other. Like, well, fucking 90% of the rest of the world, probably more, use modular scaffolding rather than tube and fitting. If anything, if we did a tube and fitting Scaffolding World Championships, that'd be the lie, because if you look at it, if you zoom out, like most of the world are using system and not tube and fitting. That's not to say that there shouldn't be a tube and fitting World Championships, but like you just said, make one then.
Somebody sets it up and do it. Yeah.
Like no one gave these guys permission to do it. They just said, we're going to do it, and it's here now. You can either come and enjoy it as a spectator, or like Rose have done, figuratively speaking, put your balls on the table. And
we was hoping to be the first to do it. I thought Ross would have done it last year, or got into it this year.
I think you were the first, weren't you?
I think between Connect and Mark at Star, and so and obviously the Irish did it last year.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's the right time. Yeah,
they were a young team, the Irish team. They were a young team.
Yeah, and the small.
Oh, come on, as Jackson's on the team, he's not young.
Yeah, true. Yeah, he's old as me. Yeah, but we've got a small team.
Yeah.
Oleg was saying that most lads are in Lithuania are like 6 foot tall. Well, ours aren't.
Yeah, like when I was doing interviews, Robertus from Hot Rimmer.
Just mentioned it.
I was like, mate. Like pointing the microphone up to him, and there was I've not shared these yet. I've got a few like face-to-face interviews I did from last year. He wasn't on the Danish team, but he came with the Danish guys. He must have been like 6'9".
Yeah.
Absolute giant of a man. So there's some big buggers out there.
Oh, we'll win the smallest competition.
Yeah, it's not the size of the boat.
Why we've done it is we brought apprentices with us as well. Who've been with us from the start. They've come from working in the yard to labourers, on site, part 1, 2, and there's apprentices with us this year. And we think that's a positive of how we've trained people.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I remember casting my mind back to Simeon. Jordan,
yeah, he's coming.
He was, sometimes people stand out to it, and like with system scaffolding, sometimes less so because the jobs go up that quickly. It's hard to really, and the jobs that they build, certainly from a solo perspective, are that small. It's hard to really gauge, who's done better than who. Not that you comparing them or competing against each other. You tend to see it more on the tube and fitting courses. But I had Jordan on his part 1. I just thought, when you can see someone's got the raw material, I thought he's got it in. He'll do okay. And then every now and again when I do stuff for you guys, like an inspection or whatever, and I'll always ask about your lad as well, about Josh. I'll always ask and see how they're getting on because you remember them and blah blah blah. And everyone always, not that they don't about Josh, but they always say Jordan's
Josh is too slow. He's too big for all that.
Yeah, he's a man of few words, isn't he?
Doesn't say a great deal now.
Yeah, he's a top lad though. Yeah,
but yeah, that's what we got to do. What to bring apprentices through and show that you can train people and to a good standard because they are decent lads as well.
Yeah,
there's 2 of them we're going to bring.
As in who are currently apprentices?
No, they've
gone right the way.
So one's halfway through his apprenticeship. Jordan's finished. He's qualified scaffolder now. So we wanted to say that you can do it. He's been in the yard and come right through, and he's a decent lad.
I think that's the vibe I'm getting from Rose. Not that it's all about this, but I think there's kind of a willingness to try and show people what's possible.
Yeah.
I've always found that with you guys, and I think we've discussed this as well, haven't we, about the rules and the way things were looking at it last year, and the way the scaffolds went together, perhaps not how we would do it in the UK.
I think that was our concern. Is we've seen it before, seen it last year, and we thought we can't do that in the UK. We can't do it in Europe. We can't be seen to work like that with no handrails and clipping on and climbing up the structure, and we can't do that. And that's why we raised that when we had the meetings with Oleg. And I know Ollie did the same, and Mark did the same. They raised the concerns, and that's why I think they've done it now with the.
Yeah, it's funny because not to say I told you so, but like when we had the initial meetings, I said, look, because I'd already spoke to you guys last year, hadn't I?
Yeah.
And I spoke to Chardy. Mark Chardy reached out to me to see, just ask a few questions. What's it like? What's it about? And all the rest of it. So I kind of knew there was probably going to be a bit of interest from UK teams. And I said to him, look, I feel like someone's going to definitely join this year. I said, but you've got to make sure that things are a little bit different. I'm not saying we have to reinvent the wheel, but we probably do have to tweak things a little bit. So, the UK teams feel more comfortable that they work in how they were back in the UK, as in from a safety perspective.
We can't be seen to be working like that. We can't, to our customers now, our lads can't be climbing up the scaffold. Maybe they do that in Europe, and that's up to them. That's their problem. But we can't do that. That's why we said from the start, if we're going to do it, we do it with Scaff Step. Regardless if they do it, if we come last by using it, then so be it. But at least we work safe, and people can look at us and say, "Yeah, that's how you should do it."
Yeah, I think there's a big win there. Anyway, do you know what I mean? Even if you came, I don't think you will, but even if you did, but you worked safely and everybody else didn't, I think if it's even close, like you're even in the same kind of within 5 or 10 minutes of the winning team, it still proves that safety's won and that you can do things safely, and it doesn't really compromise speed that much.
Because I think layer lends itself to that anyway.
It's system scaffolding.
Safely. It's so easy to work safely with layer.
Yeah, well, we talk about safe systems of work, and it's system scaffolding. And if you work systematically with it, then you can make sure that things are in place before you start climbing on the lift.
I've tried to ask Oleg for the drawing to see what.
Oh, mate, that thing.
It's a secret.
It's under lock and key. I've seen it, and I can't say anything. I can't say anything to anybody. But again, that's something that they've changed this year. They've said, we're we want it to look more like how things would look in the UK. We understand now after the conversation we've had that things have to look a little bit differently. So, we're now looking at a safe system of work, and if we can, follow SG4 to the best of our ability, then that's the way it's going to look this year.
Yeah.
So I think the structure will be a bit. I'm giving the game away here, aren't I?
Well, carry on.
But the structure will be a little bit simpler. There's still be an element of complexity to it because obviously you want it to be challenging.
Yeah. How do you mean simple? What do you mean like?
You want it to be challenging, so have an element of challenge to it. You want it to be.
It's got to be buildable. That's what we set out from the start.
Yeah.
That's when the first meeting we had with all, like we said, you've got to build something buildable. Last year's wasn't. We felt, the way they was throwing timber boards across it, and
you just don't want people to improvise.
No,
and this is kind of what I said to him. I said, if we're telling them to do something, if we're, and I'm putting myself in like their shoes now, but I'm saying if we're telling them to build something, we don't just have to tell them to build that. We have to tell them how to build it.
Yeah.
Yes, there are going to be certain techniques they can use maybe to save time. You might use the scaff step. Star Scaffolding might decide that they want to use console brackets, or they might want to work in meter lifts. So I'm sure there are going to be elements of flexibility within it, but we have to still kind of stick within the same parameters of, hierarchy of controls. If you can avoid work at height, avoid it. If you can prevent falls from happening, prevent them. Lastly, mitigate the distance and consequences of a fall in the safest manner possible. So we can stick to that. It's not, rocket science. And right the way across the board, and everyone has to stick to the same set of rules then.
I think now they've brought in, I believe everyone's got to do it. Everyone's got to work with the scaff step or the console. So it might give us an advantage because we're used to working it. The 3 UK teams will work like that.
Yeah.
So it's easier for us to adapt. Maybe not so for the European lot because they won't work like that, or they haven't done.
Yeah, and I think that's it. Like for you guys, that stuff is unconscious. That's just how you work.
Just do it, yeah.
Whereas I think that they might have to be very conscious about, what do we have to do next?
Yeah.
And that could be an advantage. By the way, they think in system.
Yeah.
But like you say, some of your guys now, they've been right the way through from the yard to qualified scaffolder in system. So they're probably the same. They're thinking in system. And then you've got the older heads like Mr. Jackson.
Yeah. And Steve Williams.
Steve Williams.
He's the captain, yeah.
He's the captain, so he's actually getting the hammers on.
Yeah, he's not allowed to work, apparently.
Really?
Yeah, the captain's not allowed to do anything. He's just got to read the drawing. He can be substituted, apparently. That's what Oleg was just saying. So
I probably should have read that, shouldn't I? They've sent me the rules.
Yeah, you push up on them skills. Yeah, you can. So the captain doesn't work.
Oh, the captain doesn't work. So he's just there to advise, read the drawing, all the rest of it. So that's going to be Steve's job.
So hopefully the other 5 lads.
I can feel some shouting and screaming coming up.
Yeah, he said that already. Yeah, he said he's going to do some shouting.
I can't wait.
In a strop walking off.
I can't wait. I honestly can't wait. Like, I mean, for you guys, it's presumably it's the first time out in Lithuania for everybody.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
It was the experience and obviously publicity. We'll go on social media and stuff like that for our company.
If you win.
Even more so when we win.
When you win. Oh, I love this. I hope you're listening, Star. I hope you're listening. Connect. Not Connect. It's Connect. Yeah, sorry, Connect. Cut that out. But yeah, that's what I want to see, a bit of competition involved.
We said to the lads, just go out and enjoy it. We may not win. We'll have a good go at it.
Yeah.
But as the lads are like, yeah, we'll have a go.
Yeah.
We're not the tallest team, but
that shouldn't hinder you too much, should it?
No, shouldn't do. No.
Like,
when you see some of them from last year, like
just stood there putting the top lifting
when they was walking about with the 6 meter standards, the 2 standards topped out.
None of that this year.
You don't need to do that. You don't need to do it.
I mean, when I spoke to a couple of people about it, they were like, "Yeah, well, you one less thing to carry up there, and like you've got something to connect to once you get up there." And I'm just like, for the only time I've ever done that out on site as a scaffold, the only time I've ever done that is to get my height for like a gutter or something like that. If so, like get your first couple of standards together, sort of sit it on a jack, roughly work out where your top lift's going to go, and then that's the jack that sets everything else. But after that, I wouldn't really bother. But
each their own. We wouldn't do it.
No, it seemed really slow to base out.
flick the kicker lift over, couldn't it? You know.
And yeah, that's what I thought.
I just thought it was dangerous.
Yeah,
but like I say, they was trying to improvise when they try to speed up. But
yeah,
nah.
see that's again going back to it. That's the issue. I think if we tell them to build something to a degree, we've got to tell them how to build it. I mean, you have
build what are we building?
You have a risk assessment and a method statement. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have what are the risks, what could go wrong, blah blah blah, and you have, you have a method statement, you have a build sequence. So I think it needs that just to get that element of, improvisation and try to cut corners out of it. So
we'll see how we go. Like I say, hopefully it's a good day. And
well, a couple of days.
Yeah, a couple of days, yeah, but you can't have a drink on the Friday because you've got to be.
Everyone's breathalyzing.
Zero alcohol on Saturday morning.
Yeah.
See how that goes.
See how that goes.
Like some polo, man.
I'm sure there'll be plenty of time for merriment after the event. And by the way, Vilnius, the city, is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, not at all what I expected. And I think everyone's got this image of like a former Soviet country, Eastern Bloc, big concrete buildings and beautiful, beautiful city. I mean, like, really, really, really
I think
clean.
It was important for us as well to represent Leia.
Yeah.
In the UK, from the UK, sorry.
Yeah.
I think speaking with Sean, I think they're pleased that we've got into it.
Yeah.
The UK companies.
Yeah, I think
it's not all about the European system and layer. It's mainly European, but I think they was pleased that we'd got into it.
Yeah, I can see why. I only see the positives with it.
Yeah.
I think anything that gets eyes and attention on scaffolding, it gets people talking about it, and we talk about skill shortages, and we talk about difficulty getting people into the game. If you can show people that kind of stuff in school, it makes it interesting. It makes it glamorous. It makes it and really, that is, the building of it is the glamour side of it. Yeah, there are some difficulties. There is, we're talking to Kiwazo a couple of minutes ago about, chaining material and, it's labour intensive and all the rest of it. That is true. But when you're actually putting scaffolds up, it can be a very enjoyable job. It's the other shit that comes with it that can make it less enjoyable.
Yeah. Like I say, hopefully it's a good weekend. Maybe we'll do it again.
Yeah. I'm hoping so. I'm hoping what I'm hoping is, and I spoke to Dan from Scaffolding about this, I'm hoping that they start moving it around a little bit. For Oleg and Victor's sake, it's nice that it stayed in Lithuania, but I think after this year, everyone's got a good look at it. They know what it's about, and we can start taking it to. I just want some more free holidays, to be honest.
Maybe Sean does it in Letchworth.
Maybe. Do you know what I mean? I'd love the opportunity to go to Ibensbach. I've still not been, actually. Leo, after all the promoting I do for you lot. I've still not been to Ibensbach, so I'd love to go there. And I think somewhere in Germany would be good because it's Leia is a German company. But then, they are subsidiaries all over the world. It'd be great to have one here in the UK, somewhere near Letchworth. Ireland, be another great place to have it.
Dublin.
Yeah. Dublin's it. But, what's not to like about Dublin? You know what I mean? I love a pint of Guinness, so there's always there.
Knock the breathalyzer test.
You might have to give that one a miss that year. But so many different places you could take it, and hopefully it just continues to grow from here. So if you've not got your tickets yet, grab them. And Chris, thank you very much for coming on. Speaking of beer, should we go on?
Yeah, let's try one.
Top man. See you next time.
Cheers.
I need to work on my sign off.